This is a good day, and today we're going to talk about the acculturation process. And I hope that you will keep your hearts and minds open and realize that there are differences in the perspective and the belief systems of Native people on a reservation, border towns, urban, and so that's what we're going to look at today. Early in our history, there was only one way of life. Lakota, Lakota, or the Indian way. With the passage of time, Native American people became closer contact with the non-native society. And as a consequence, various degrees of assimilation began to emerge. So they began assimilating in various degrees. Today, there's basically 4 levels of cultural assimilation, or we assimilate in 4 different levels. There's the traditional culture, the traditional Lakota or Indian person. There's the culturally immersed person, and there's the bicultural person, and then the fully acculturated. And we're going to consider those today. The traditional person. The traditional person is neither accepting or rejecting their identity. They don't accept or they don't reject their identity. They simply just are. I mean, they're who they are. These individuals often have limited contact outside of the Indian community. And when I was growing up, there was a lot of these, but very seldom. If anything, it'd be among the Diné people, the Navajo people, where are those who have very limited contact outside of their native community. They are carriers of the Indian culture. Today, the traditional person is usually an older person of the tribe. The values, the morals, the artifacts, the language, their customs, their beliefs, and tribal history, it's vested in these people. Traditional Indians are usually from poverty backgrounds. They don't have a lot of the things that other people have. Most are elderly, although there are younger members of the tribe now. Any person of any age with little or no exposure outside of the reservation will probably be traditional, very traditional in their thought process. Often, Indian ceremonies are a very important part of their lives. The traditional person will have a strong commitment to the extended family arrangement and will generally prefer Indian relationships or companionships. And so that is a traditional person. There's not too many traditional people left. I mean, really pure traditional people left, except way back on the reservation. Now, the culturally immersed person. This interpersonal style of the Indian, the Native American, usually has behaviors and attitudes that are often termed by non-Indians as militant. The culturally immersed Indians reject the values of the non-native culture in favor of the Indian values and beliefs. Although being pre-Indian or pro-Indian does not necessarily mean non-native or anti-white, many non-natives are either because of the fear of or they've been turned off by the assertiveness and politically active individuals. Their culturally immersed Indians are widely in demographic areas, although these individuals have taken Indian names. They have rejected a lot of times Christianity, traditional Christianity, in favor of the Native American church. And by that it means not only there is Native American churches on the reservations, but it's not that specifically church group or organization. But they reject Christianity in favor of their own traditional religious belief system. That is a culturally immersed person. Now, a person who can be bicultural. So you have your traditional, you have your culturally immersed. This person is immersed in the native culture. Somebody said it this way: you have one foot in the native culture and the other foot in the white culture. You live on a reservation, you work in town. And that is a culturally immersed person. A bicultural person is one who has pride in their racial identity, history, and cultural traditions. They are acceptable both in an Indian and non-native world. Bicultural natives have a tendency to seek out racial diversity that is stimulated by it. They value and tend to live and work in integrated settings. To be bicultural means you're able to speak two languages. You can speak your own traditional language. You can speak English. You have traditional values and modern values. You can participate in your practices in the traditional way, and you can attend church and become a believer in Creator. So bicultural, you're accepting of both ways. You're comfortable in both worlds. And I think that's where I fit in. I can function in a native world, and then I can function in the non-native world. Now the last, an acculturated Native American. That person has either made or conscious or unconscious decision to reject the general attitude, behaviors, custom, rituals, and behaviors associated with being a native. An acculturated person, they have dark skin, native features, they don't speak their language, they don't know their tradition, their customs, their values. They don't know anything about being native. They do understand everything about the non-native world. And so you have your traditional Native American, you have your culturally immersed Native American, and then you have your bicultural Native American, and then you have your completely acculturated. These are the types of people that are finding that late in life that they are Native American, and they're coming back to the reservations to try to discover the roots and find out that they really are Native American. So when you're working with people, remember that. You have your traditional people, you have your culturally immersed people, you have your bicultural people, and then completely acculturated.